Hello, brave, beautiful, beloved soul friends. Okay, so we're about to dive into the most profound magics ever. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being you. If you are wondering why I am not looking directly at the camera for most of this and similar videos, you will have to explore thesis number 29 to find out why, especially the later videos in thesis number 29. I am applying my own ideas to heal myself while I create space to hear myself. So as much as these videos are to share, they are also for me, to be here with me, expressing myself on my own journey. Okay, so we're about to dive into the many mega magic. So before we get started, just directly to you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you. It takes a lot of courage and love to have the inclination to cultivate personal power reclamation and want to understand and heal unconscious body minds. It takes a lot of courage. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. Thank you for exploring my content. Thank you for supporting my work. Thank you for boldly loving yourselves, and thank you for being here with me. Okay, so before we dive in, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being right here with me. I'm grateful to share the journey with you. I'm grateful to share all these implicit revelations with you, and I'm really proud of you for your courage to embrace your own personal healing journey. So, as if thesis number 29 wasn't the most mind-blowing discovery of a lifetime, in this video I am going to be sharing a preceding little glimpse into thesis number 30. Which I will be taking my time with because it is so monumental and incredible. But I am too excited. I'm too excited to contain the magic. So I just absolutely have to create this little preface video because I'm really excited to share what I've discovered. It's revolutionary beyond measure and is blowing my mind in every moment of every day to new layers and depths. Okay, so... Before I explain it, there's some prefacing notes. The unconscious body-mind can be understood through a conceptualization of the neurobiological social engagement system. There are hundreds of trillions of neural networks in the brain and the body that have been sculpted from experience in relation with attachment well-being, creating neural content and connectivity. So all these experiences that happen, and depending on how attachment needs were met during those experiences, information is created abstractly, and the way that the information is wired and the way that the information is connecting determines the wiring of the unconscious body-mind. The neurobiological social engagement system is a concept that stems from the polyvagal theory, the polyvagal theory. And in thesis number 4 of my Implicit Revelations case study, I explained that the neurobiological social engagement system basically explains the neuroscience of psychology. And the neurobiological social engagement system has 16 specific social engagement and disengagement roles that each carry a distinct unconscious priority. And that affects navigation. For example, the role of emotional intimacy cares about navigating self and life in relation with emotional intimacy. It doesn't care about health. It doesn't care about this other stuff. It only cares about emotional intimacy. And so the wiring associated with that role in the neurobiological social engagement system carries an unconscious priority about emotional intimacy, and that determines how that neural wiring is providing unconscious navigation that impacts thoughts, feelings, action patterns, etc. Okay, so this neurobiological social engagement system has data from every year of life organized in relation with all of these roles. And that is how the unconscious body-mind is navigating its own existence. And then in relation with that, the implicit procedural memory data in relation with attachment well-being affects regulatory protocols throughout all brain-body activity. Okay, and you can explore other theses in my Implicit Revelations case study, other videos in my known documentary series to find out more about these concepts, okay? So there's the neurobiological social engagement system, which is a way to understand the unconscious mind or the unconscious body mind, however you want to describe it. Subconscious realms, okay? So the basic structure of that idea I built off the polyvagal theory. And that was shared in thesis number 4. Here we are, thesis number 30. And I've discovered a new role in the neurobiological social engagement system that has neural wiring from every year of life, and it affects navigation unconsciously in the most profound way. Okay, remember, approximately 99.08% of inner realities exist and operate beyond awareness. So most of what's happening, we have absolutely no idea about. Like, even if we are in tune, in a meditative state of total silence, we cannot go inside of our unconscious body mind and be like, oh, look at all that neural activity. Whoa. Like, we can't do that. Through certain styles of self-hypnosis, you might be able to go in and get glimpses of some corners of stuff, but we never have the complete capacity to dive in and actually perceive everything that's happening in the unconscious body mind in any given moment. It's not possible. But that's what makes it part of the mystery, okay? Consciousness, the true essence of self, is an infinite essence. And the unconscious body mind has to be an infinite it has to have components of infinity in order to contain consciousness, basically. The unconscious body mind has to have the infinite complexities of the universe in order for consciousness to fit inside of this stuff. The unconscious body mind has to have components of infinity to contain an infinite essence like consciousness. Okay, so the unconscious body mind, infinitely vastly complex, approximately 99.08% of inner realities exist and operate beyond awareness, which you can find out more about in earlier theses of my Implicit Revelations case study. Okay, so neurobiological social engagement system, I talked about 16 different roles that are stemming from the polyvagal theory, okay, and each role has a specific priority regarding unconscious navigation, which thus affects unconscious regulation of brain-body activity. Okay, so that just kind of sums up the preface here. A 17th role in the neurobiological social engagement system is called SelfAssociations. And this is, again, a preface to my 30th thesis statement and analysis in my Implicit Revelations case study. I discovered this stuff through my own observations, through my own inner play and work, but also play. And it is blowing my mind 10 million times over. So this new role in the neurobiological social engagement system is called SelfAssociations. And the unconscious priority is to help the unconscious body-mind know how to associate with itself and associate that self with all components of reality. Okay, so there's all these other roles: emotional well-being, physical well-being, emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, rest and restitution, mutual support, cooperation, parent-child bonding. There's all these other roles. That information was presented in thesis number 4, and the core components of it stemmed from the polyvagal theory. I built off of it. But this is something brand new, and it's blowing my mind. The role of self-associations in the neurobiological social engagement system, a 17th role, teaches the unconscious body-mind how to recognize and resonate with itself, including face, voice, and body, and how to associate that self with all components of reality. The ability to recognize and resonate with people, places, and things, certain sights, certain smells, certain sensations. Okay? And so the role of self-associations in the neurobiological social engagement system carries information from every year of life. The unconscious body-mind remembers how to recognize and resonate itself when it was 6 months young, 2 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, 11 years old. And how that information is wired and connected with recent information affects how the unconscious body-mind recognizes and resonates with its own self. But the most astounding part about this is that the way the unconscious body-mind associates with itself affects how the unconscious body-mind associates with all components of reality. Okay? The ability for the unconscious body-mind to recognize and resonate with other people, certain smells, certain places, In the case study share that I was talking about, dissociation, thesis number 27, one of the many points in that presentation was about how dissociation can reduce sensations of familiarity. Like, you might walk into a building you've been in every day for the past 20 years and be completely disoriented. There's not an instinctive sense of familiarity. Okay? When the unconscious body-mind is effectively recognizing and resonating with itself and all components of reality, when there are effective associations with the self and with reality, then there will be sensations of familiarity. Okay? So for example, maybe you've been swimming frequently throughout your life, and when you get in a pool, your body knows the feeling of being in the water, so you're comfortable with it. But what happens if one day you get into that swimming pool water and you're like, oh my God, this feels foreign. I've never felt this on me. It's like slippery and weird. Oh my God, I feel uncomfortable being in the swimming pool because my unconscious body-mind can't remember ever being in a swimming pool before. So it feels foreign and unfamiliar and thus scary and terrifying. So the way the unconscious body-mind associates with itself determines how it associates with life. And so the ability to feel familiarity with components of reality, like, oh, I recognize this smell. Oh, I recognize this feeling. Oh, I feel familiar with this place. That ability depends on the neural content and connectivity in the neurobiological social engagement system of the unconscious body-mind in association with the 17th role regarding self-associations. Okay, here's the coolest part though. The coolest part. When consciousness transforms the data in the neurobiological social engagement system filed in accordance with the role of self-associations, when consciousness teaches the brain and the body to have new associations with itself, then it unconsciously changes how the unconscious body-mind associates with all components of reality. Okay? So for example, applying thesis number 29 for many thousands of hours has transformed the associations that my unconscious body-mind has with itself. And a core component or a key way that I did this was through Mirror Play with Mirror Power Creative Connections and the Personal Dimensions Mirror Play with Mirror Power Subconscious Unveiling and Transformation Technique, which you can find out more about in the video description below. These are some of my more advanced offerings, some of the more complex offerings that I share through Kristin's Consciousness Consultancy. But with many thousands of hours of applying these ideas, my unconscious body-mind has totally transformed the data, or consciousness has transformed the data in the unconscious body-mind in relation with the role of self-associations. And in that process, the most astounding thing happened. The unconscious body-mind has different styles of associating with all components of reality. The way that I feel a fan, like a contraption with things that spins and creates cool air. A fan. The way that I feel a fan is different now than it was before because the associations have been changed in the unconscious body-mind. The way that I smell specific flowers has changed. The instinctive automated translation of reality when I perceive smells of certain flowers has transformed. The way that I feel sensations of familiarities when I walk into buildings, when I walk into a certain room, it's a completely different experience now than it was before. And it feels a million times better. It feels a million times better than it used to. There's more effective translations of reality, more effective navigation unfolding in translation of sensory perception and other components of reality. Now that there are new associations in the unconscious body-mind. Okay? All right, so this is kind of everywhere because this is just a preface video. This is just a sneak peek into some of the upcoming magics of the Implicit Revelations case study. It is so incredible though. Okay, so approximately 99.08% of inner realities exist and operate beyond awareness, affecting trillions of parts of consciousness beyond what we can directly perceive. The unconscious body-mind can be understood through conceptualizations of the neurobiological social engagement system, which has all these different roles that have distinct unconscious priorities, and there's neural data from every year of life filed in accordance with all these roles. And that determines how the unconscious body-mind navigates its own existence, navigates its own sense of self and reality, unconsciously, automatically, instinctively. And that affects regulation beyond awareness. All these different roles have distinct priorities. Through the Implicit Revelations case study, I discovered a 17th role that I describe as SelfAssociations. And the distinct unconscious priority of SelfAssociations is to help the unconscious body-mind recognize explicitly and implicitly resonate with itself and the self in relation with all components of reality. Your ability to recognize your best friend comes from this neural data. Your ability to feel a sense of closeness with your romantic partner comes from this neural data. Not directly emotional intimacy, because that's a different role, but in relation with how the self associates with this person and feels a resonance with who they are. When you look at their face, your ability to be like, I know this person, I trust this person, I love this person, that ability comes from this neural wiring. Your ability to look at something and have a sense of association with it. Like maybe you look at the sky and you're like, okay, the sky is blue. Do you look at the sky and you're like, oh my God, what is all this open space and how does it have color? Where is this coming from? Or are you like, oh, it's the sky and it's blue. This is like a thing. This is like a part of reality. The ability to translate that automatically through unconscious navigation comes from this neural data. It's how the self is recognizing and resonating with itself and recognizing and resonating with all components of reality. Your ability to taste something familiar and feel a sense of familiarity with it comes from this neural data. Your ability to walk into your bedroom and feel a sense of familiarity with it comes from this neural data. Your ability to recognize the sound of someone's voice comes from this neural data. Your ability to have a sense of closeness with your pet cat, like maybe you have a pet animal, and when it walks up, are you like, oh my God, whose cat is this? I've never seen it before. Or are you like, oh, this is my cat. I have a sense of closeness with this cat. I feel associated with this cat. I feel connected with this cat. That ability stems from this neural data. Okay? And the complexities are infinite because there's neural wiring from every single year of life. And so it's really fun to kind of play with this because how the unconscious body-mind is associating with itself is affecting reality, which means that how the present moment adult self or the inner life partner is connecting with the 5-year-old self or an aspect of the inner child, how they're able to connect unconsciously affects how the unconscious body-mind is associating with itself and able to recognize its own face, voice, and body. And that is affecting how the self associates with reality, with other people. In one of my previous, a couple of my previous theses analyses, I think when I was talking about uniquarters, possibly theses 7 through 10, adaptable consciousness condition, I talked about how dissociative age regression or age regressive states of consciousness, parts of consciousness, might feel a sense of resonance with younger people rather than people who are the age of the body. For example, let's say someone's 35, but in a certain scenario, they're experiencing dissociative age regression to 7 years old. They're sitting at a park. There's kids playing on the park, and there's adults watching the kids. The unconscious body-mind might feel a deeper sense of closeness and automated familiarity with the children on the playground than with the adults. Because even though the body is 35, navigation is associating its own self with being 7 years young. And the way the unconscious body-mind is associating with itself determines how the unconscious body-mind is associating with reality. So you look out at this playground, and if the unconscious body-mind has self-associations activated in relation with being 7 years old, even though the body's 35, then automatically, instinctively, there would be a deeper sense of connection with kids on the playground who might be closer to 7 years old than with the adults watching who might be closer to 35. And so the way the unconscious body-mind associates with itself affects how it unconsciously, automatically, instinctively associates with all components of reality. Other people, places, things, feelings, sensations. The way that you instinctively feel water on your skin when you shower is affected by this neural data. How the unconscious body-mind is associating with itself determine how it's associating with showering and feeling water on your body. Because it remembers the very first time you ever learned to shower when you were a little child. The unconscious body-mind remembers every single moment you've ever showered, and how that neural data is connecting affects how it's providing navigation now, because memories don't store the past. They exist to navigate present and potential moments. Neurobiologically, memories don't care about the past. There are no past experiences, according to the unconscious body-mind. There is only presently existing neural wiring. There is no past. There's only presently existing neural data, neural wiring. Implicit energetic intel in the unconscious body-mind. So, this discovery, there's two components to it. One is understanding, and two is healing. The whole structure of my divine passion, purpose, soul bliss, the whole journey that I've been on is to provide understanding and healing for unconscious body minds. That's the mission here for me. and so the first part is understanding unconscious body minds. We can understand in new ways, new depths, new levels, new realms of miraculous magical wonders, how the unconscious body-mind is associating with itself and components of reality, including the ability to recognize and resonate with the face, voice, and the body, and how this sense of self associates with other people, other places, other things. People includes people you've known for decades and people you've never seen before. Like if you're seeing someone you've known for 30 years, or if you're walking at a park passing a stranger, the way that the unconscious body-mind automatically interprets the association of the self with these people depends on this neural data. And how the unconscious body-mind associates the self with places. Okay? Your ability to feel familiarity, your ability to recognize things. Like when you're unloading a dishwasher, for example, how do you know where to put stuff away? There's all these drawers, all these cupboards. You pick something up, or you're like, let me look through every single cupboard because I have no idea where this goes. Or is there an instinctive ability to be like, okay, this goes here? The ability for the self to associate with all these components of reality comes from this neural data. And the ability for the unconscious body-mind to associate with different things, including sensations, different smells. Smell's a big one. The unconscious body-mind remembers all the different times that it smelled all the different things. Experience in relation with attachment well-being creates neural content and connectivity. This information determines how the unconscious body-mind navigates and regulates its own existence. That was me just being mind blown by being alive. Being alive is impossibly miraculous. The unconscious body-mind remembers all the different times that it smelled all the different things, and how that neural content is organized affects translations of smells in present moments. And so the way that I, for example, instinctively experience smells from certain plants is completely different in a good way now than a year ago, 2 years ago, because of all this inner work to transform self-associations, especially through mirror play with mirror power. Mirror play, M-E-R-E, with mirror, M-I-R-R-O-R, power. It's fun. It's fun. That's fun. It's a fun phrase for me. It's a very fun phrase for me. I'll never get tired of it. It's a very fun phrase for me. And again, you can explore more about that in the video description below. Okay, so this concept helps us understand the unconscious body-mind. The role of self-associations of the neurobiological social engagement system, where every year of data, or every year of life has added data to this system, and the whole priority of this role is to help the self associate with itself and reality. And that includes recognition and resonance of the self and of all components of reality. Okay? So, then the second little piece here is healing and transforming, liberating and expanding the unconscious body-mind. When the self, when consciousness transforms this information and revolutionizes how the self is associating with itself, which can be practiced through application of thesis number 29. If you haven't checked that out, you absolutely got to. It's only the most incredible, miraculous, evolutionary, revolutionary wonder of a century. Or, you know, a millennium or something. A big, long number, because it's really, really incredible and stuff. And you can find out more about that in the video description below. So check out thesis number 29 if you haven't. But when consciousness teaches the brain and the body to have new associations with itself in relation with thriving attachment systems, then it transforms this neural wiring in the role of self-associations of the neurobiological social engagement system of the unconscious body-mind. And this will actually indirectly transform how the self instinctively associates with all components of reality, including the ability to recognize and resonate other people, various places, and all different things, including sensory sensations, sensory stimulus processing. And so by applying thesis number 29, among the infinite potentials of applying these insights, by applying thesis number 29, this neural wiring changes. The unconscious body-mind learns new ways of associating with itself and new ways of associating with reality. And this changes everything. It changes the way that you feel when you wake up in your own bed. It changes the way you feel when you shower or exercise. It changes the way you feel wearing clothes. It changes the way you feel when you eat and when you taste and when you smell and when you see. It changes everything. It changes the way you connect with other people. It changes your ability to feel familiar in your own life, regardless of what the life looks like. It changes everything. So that's all for now. This is just a little prefacing magic, because I'm super excited about all this cool stuff I've been learning. Really excited to share, and just super excited about this. So, as always, please do feel free to explore my other free content and offerings through Kristin's Consciousness Consultancy. There's a wide variety of miraculous magics, personalized self-hypnosis sessions, personalized affirmations, lots of different healing journey programs, some that are simpler, some that are more complex, some that last a few months or a couple years, and some that last all the way 5 to 10 years. Some really in-depth stuff. And lots of healing journey videos, and the Implicit Revelations gift package with the best work from my case study, and one-on-one consciousness consultation calls through audio or video calls. There's group consciousness consultation calls now available through video calls as well. And my more in-depth offerings, the most complex profound and expansive offerings I have right now, and related with these ideas I'm sharing here, are my Mirror Play with Mirror Power Creative Connections Healing Journey program that lasts 5 to 10 years to completely rewrite the entire unconscious body-mind while having fun through love and presence, and my Personal Dimensions Mirror Play with Mirror Power Subconscious Unveiling and Transformation Technique, which is available through video calls or group speaking engagements. And you can find out more about that in the video description below. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for exploring these miraculous topics with me. It is truly a miracle. A 17th role in the neurobiological social engagement system called SelfAssociations that determines how the unconscious body-mind recognizes and resonates with its own existence, including the face, voice, and body. It affects how you see yourself in the mirror. It affects the way that you process hearing your own voice. It affects the way that you connect with all different parts of your body, your hands, your neck, your arms, your legs, your feet, and it affects all the different areas regarding how the self associates with reality. Your ability to recognize your cousin, your ability to feel a sense of closeness with your best friend, your ability to recognize your roommate, your ability to have a certain type of energetic relationship with anybody, the ability to feel a sense of familiarity in certain buildings, certain rooms, around certain objects or feelings, the ability to feel comfortable in situations like showering or swimming because your unconscious body-mind remembers doing these things before, the ability to process all forms of sensory stimulus, including sights, sounds, smells, taste, touch, all of it. The ability for all of it unconsciously comes from this neural data. And when the unconscious body-mind has different ways of associating with itself, it automatically, indirectly affects the way that it associates with everything. And by practicing the application of thesis number 29, the unconscious body-mind can gain new self-associations, especially through mirror practices. And in this process, it evolves and transforms and liberates all components of reality. You can more effectively smell flowers. You can more effectively taste food, because the way that the self is associating with these components of reality is uplifted, because the way the self associates with the self is uplifted. It's incredible. It's so incredible. So thank you for being here. Thank you for exploring these contents. Again, check out the video description below. There is so much magic. And if you enjoyed hanging out, or you learned something new, or found it just somewhat generally interesting, please feel free to give this video a thumbs up, give it a share, a little lovely comment. I appreciate your support with my work, my content, and my passion, purpose, soul bliss, what I know I'm here to do and who I know I'm here to be. So thank you so much for being you, and thank you for being here, and have a beautiful and blessed day, my beloved soul friends, and I'll catch you in another content creation. From my heart to yours, namaste. The love and light in my divine consciousness sees and honors the love and light in your divine consciousness. Thank you again for being here, and thank you for being you.